We shall be focusing on deliberations and discussions around the ongoing World Economic Forum, which is holding in Davos, Switzerland. And I have my guest who is here with me at the moment, and we will be talking about just how much these deliberations and all of these discussions will impact within the Nigerian economy. My guest is here with me. He is ATTAH IGOCHE, and he is a business analyst as well as a change maker for the World Economic Forum. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so starting off, let's start with the reason for this meeting, obviously. Like I said before, there's a lot of conversations around trade, climate change, and the likes. But let's hear from you. You are someone who has been a part of this forum before, and you are still a part of that forum. But let's hear from you. What are your thoughts on the importance of this forum, this meeting?
Okay, so globally, we're entering an era that is constantly changing, where you mentioned three subjects, let's say artificial intelligence, for instance. If there is anybody on the planet that wasn't taking AI seriously before 2023, I think that must have changed considerably, especially with the advent of generative AI and all of that. So these conversations are really important, as we need to start looking and taking subjects like AI governance seriously. We need to start looking at how AI is changing the workspace, is changing the business community, as well as social policy and all of that. And again, we can't overemphasize how important it is for us to discuss climate change. This is our common world. And if you look at the numbers, it does call for serious review. Over the last 3 decades, GDP has more than doubled, but our natural resource value has dropped by 40%. That's not interesting. How do we look at putting more value to climate change? How do we improve or create a long-term solution, a long-term strategy for climate change? And these are some of the conversations that are happening at the forum this year. We're also talking about trade. Fine, Africa has done brilliantly with the AfCFTA, but how do we move forward with the integration of these policies? We are coming up with more ways to improve trade, more ways to improve services and production as well across the continent, but how are we adapting our systems to international policies? How are we adapting our systems to global best practices? How are we growing with the rest of the world? So these conversations are important, and I'm really looking forward to how we progress with these subjects as we go deeper into the conversation tomorrow.
Yeah, so yesterday I heard from the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, where he spoke right there at the forum, and he was talking about Nigeria needing genuine and concrete partnerships in the areas of trade, climate change, as well as AI, like you rightly pointed out. It's a field that is, every day gathering more and more attention. So what sort of partnerships do you think Nigeria can have, especially in the area of AI? I ask this because not too many Nigerians are open to, that field yet. However, we are calling for partnerships. So what sort of partnerships should we be looking at?
Okay, so there are a number of areas where we need to look at partnerships, but like you said, a lot of Nigerians are not concerned or don't have very good understanding of AI, and it's not going to affect what AI does, whether we understand it or not. It's here to stay, and it would only keep doing more. So it's up to whether AI does damage or good, largely depends on how we adopt it, how we adopt policies to protect us against negative AI development, how we adopt positive to take us further. In terms of partnerships in this space, I like what the new minister is doing, Minister of Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani. I like what he's doing. He's gone out and say, you know what, let all the Nigerians that are vast in AI come together, let's build something. He's reached out to professionals. He's reached out to international partners. He's saying that, you know what, AI is the future. We've been looking at solving Nigerians' problem for a long time without data. Can we collate as much data as possible and deploy AI to help us move forward? And he's reached out to some of the biggest AI technology companies in the world for partnerships as well. And so far, I wouldn't say that's going so well. on our own part, we're trying, but like the vice president rightly pointed out, we need more of these partnerships. We need companies that, one, could help us regulate AI. We need better AI development procedures and infrastructure in Nigeria. We want to be a part of it, not just users or consumers of AI products. We want to be a part of the entire development, and to do that, we need more partnership, we need more infrastructure, we need to be a part of the conversation and not just consumers. I think on that, so areas where we need partnership will be more getting more of the AI production companies to work with Nigerian businesses, getting more involved with AI governance, and also helping to increase the amount of AI developers that we have in Nigeria. Currently, the federal government is doing the 3MTT program to help teach more developers in AI, but even programs like that require international backing and support to thrive. So it's really important that we get this support at this phase.
Okay, at this point, let us join MANZO NYIFAMU, who is currently at Davos, Switzerland, and let's hear from her what exactly are the conversations that are ongoing. Hello, MANZO, can you hear us from this end?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, can you just quickly give us a brief, because I understand I pulled you out of one of your sessions, but let's just quickly, you know, what are the conversations ongoing around trade, climate change, AI, and the likes?
There's been an amazing conversation so far. Like we all know, the CS team is building trust, and we are here as young people. So I am a global shaper of the World Economic Forum, and we are 50 here who are under 30, representing the young people to pull out these conversations in rooms that only older people are. So we are lending our voices in creating, making sure that young people are putting in actions and voices in making policies that are connected to Africa and within the world on climate actions, artificial intelligence, and world trade.
Okay, let's talk about climate action now. What, in your point of view, are the low-hanging fruits that Nigeria must address in terms of, you know, acting with regards to climate change?
For us, it is very important that we have the international government look at how we can better invest in climate action solutions. There are a couple of climate action solutions in Nigeria, so they need to support this solutions to make sure that they scale up, and also help us to reach out to the citizens better, to have better communication in making sure that we understand what climate actions are first, and know how we are going to play the vital role in creating the sustainable changes.
Okay, just before you go, can you give us a rundown on what today's event will be about? I understand there are some meetings that have already been scheduled for today. Can you just give us a brief on what is ongoing at the venue today?
There are currently a couple of sessions. For me, I am very interested in the agricultural sections, the ones on food security, climate actions. Currently, we have a session with the World Trade Organization where Madam Ngozi is currently speaking, trying to bridge the gap between Africa and Southern trade, which I'll be joining very shortly. So there are other couple of sessions that are happening on climate actions, AI, and the green spaces.
Thank you very much, MANZO NYIFAMU. Thank you for the updates from Davos, Switzerland. We appreciate. And going back now to you, ATTAH IGOCHE, we have heard from her conversations around climate change, agribusiness, and the likes. Let's talk about climate change specifically. Nigeria has been, you know, we've seen an increase in the levels of flood, we've seen an increase in the levels of, you know, heat, I should say, and also many other issues around climate change and the clamor to plant more trees and, of course, embrace more sustainable business options. What would you have to say about that? Have you seen Nigeria as a country, you know, adopt these sustainable practices that we have been asked to do over time?
Okay, I would say that while we can do more, Nigeria has actually done a good deal of work in that space. Within the Global Shapers community, as well, funded by World Economic Forum, we're able to plant thousands of trees, right, in Abuja within 6 months, And there are other organizations doing a lot of work as well in that space, and the government too have been. So the problem with Nigeria has never really been about the quality of policies that we have. It's always been about implementation. So I think the government can do more in ensuring that these policies are implemented, especially as it concerns the big industries and how they continue to manage their industrial waste and emissions as well. So we can do more, but that doesn't mean that we haven't been taking steps. That doesn't mean that the country as well hasn't been taking steps. A lot of civil groups have been doing a lot of work. A lot of their innovation hubs centered solely on climate that have been getting a lot of international funding as well to deploy projects in this space. But again, like I said, the government needs to put more effort into ensuring that the climate policies that we have are properly implemented in this space.
Okay, you talked about renewable energy, and there is an ongoing debate as to how we can have, a level playing field, a level ground between renewable energy and, of course, fossil fuels. Currently, there is the starting of operation with Dangote refinery, and obviously that can, cause gas emissions and all of that. And on the other hand, again, we're talking about renewable energy. How can we carve like a middle ground between these two? Is it even possible towards attaining the net zero 2060 energy plan? Is it possible?
You want the truth?
I do want the truth. That's what I'm asking for.
It's not realistic.
What is not realistic? The year?
The year is not realistic. We still have a long way to go. Like you rightly pointed out, with Dangote refinery, we're not just looking at more emissions, we're looking at other issues like gas flaring, which has been there for as long as we can remember. And we don't even know how much the government have done, because what we see in the news sometimes is usually different from when you get on ground and then you interact with some of the people in these communities and you see that the effects of gas flaring are still there, we're still discussing. So it's difficult to say that that time frame is realistic. And how do we balance it? I like that the Tinubu administration came on board and said, you know what, if you can generate energy cleanly up to a certain capacity and distribute it, the government will issue you a license. That's, for me, that's really good. That's us trying to at least move a step further. That will allow companies to start looking at other cleaner energy sources or cleaner energy models and get international funding. And there've been a lot of international investors that are happy to fund projects like that. So that would significantly improve the odds, but it still won't be enough with the time frame we're looking at. But it's doable. It's just not within the time frame we're looking at.
Okay, just before we go, I watched a bit of a session yesterday where I heard John Kerry talk about clean technology. Can you break this down for the benefit of our viewers who are wondering what is clean technology? On one hand, we have clean energy. However, there is now the conversation around clean technology. What would you say that means, and how does it apply to countries such as Nigeria?
Okay, so clean technology, but more so like clean energy, are literally technologies that are geared towards zero emission, geared towards making the world a better place, climate change and all of that. So looking at countries like Nigeria, where every businessman, every institution is trying to save costs, it's really difficult to see how we can implement that. But there's an innovation hub in Abuja called dedicated solely to clean tech. It's called Clean Tech Hub in Asokoro. They have some international partners that are supporting a lot of projects that are really deploying clean technology in that space as well. So maybe initiatives like that can help, but as it stands right now with the policies that we have and the need to save production costs, I don't think that we are doing so well when it comes to adopting and deploying clean technology in Nigeria right now.
Unfortunately, our time is fast spent. But like you said, I hope we start to see changes, in deploying clean technology, clean energy, and just clean everything basically at this point. Thank you very much. ATTAH IGOCHE, he is a change shaper for the World Economic Forum.
Global shaper.
A global shaper
the lady
for World
just
Economic
is
Forum.
My colleague.
You said?
The lady you interviewed from Davos is actually my colleague.
Oh, interesting then, interesting. Well, thank you for joining us on the program. And this is the point where we draw the curtains on this edition of Business Daily. Join us again, same time, same station tomorrow. My name is Chiamaka and Nendu. Thank you for watching.